Right now. Gosh. Okay. I think we're live.
Are we
All
live now?
right. Yes, we are live.
I got my
Hello,
water. So
everybody. Cheers. I don't have any more coffee. Thank you for joining us. My name is Dan Duran, and I'm the host of the Tech Lounge that I have here, of course, all the time, every single episode. My partner in crime, my co host, Andrew Summerton. Hello, Andrew. How are you doing?
I'm good, Dan. How are you?
And doing fantastic.
Okay,
Thanks.
okay. So before we start the show, I just really want to address the shirt that you're wearing. I think it's not only wonderful. You told me a little bit about it, but I think it's really important that our audience knows and understands a little bit what wonderful things you're doing.
Yeah, this is the Great Cycle Challenge, and it's basically a campaign that I'm doing and I'm helping with for Sick Kids Hospital. They raise awareness and money uh, for kids with cancer, right? For cancer research and all of that. Maybe I should put that on the screen as well, so
Yeah,
people
absolutely,
can see what it is, and perhaps they can help out, right? So let me
absolutely.
just see how.
Such an incredible cause, near and dear to me, and so many people I know, and so thank you so much for what you're doing and what they're doing, and it's an incredible cause. So I know any little bit
Absolutely.
helps. It's amazing.
Yeah. So
And you
here's my
get and,
page.
and you get some great exercise for doing it. I love that.
Yes, yeah. So yeah, goal is 500 kilometers on the month of August, and I was talking to one of our clients, and he was saying, "Oof, 500 kilometers, I can do that in a week." And I'm like, "Yeah, well, you're an expert, you're a pro at this. I'm just a beginner, and I do trail cycling, so it's a little harder, right? I'm not a roadie. I've raised so far $1,000 for this cause, so my goal is $1,200. So thank you so much. I really appreciate, and I hope if you're, like listening to this podcast, just go to greatcyclechallenge.ca, and then you can look for me, Dan Duran, and then you can maybe donate a little bit of money. I mean, every cent helps, right? So yeah, so
Absolutely,
this is the
absolutely.
cost that I'm doing for this month. So thank you for mentioning that, Andrew. I really appreciate.
Oh, of course.
And
I
that's
love the
also
shirt too.
why I'm
I
wearing
love
the
it.
shirt, right? So just to raise awareness for cancer research. All right, so yeah, I'm Dan Durand, the CTO of Rhino Cybersecurity, and also risk advisor, and I have here Andrew Summerton. He's the CEO of Rhino Cybersecurity. We're every Friday at 12 o'clock. We're live on LinkedIn, Facebook, and of course YouTube, which is our primary channel. So if you're listening from those channels, go to YouTube, jump into YouTube, and look for Get Cyber, and you will find us. And make sure you subscribe. We also have a lot of good stuff for you. We have a bi-weekly newsletter that gets sent out to all of our clients. You can sign up in our website, rhino.io. That's rhino with a Y, rhino.io. And if you contact us through LinkedIn, or you go to LinkedIn, then you can actually sign up for Purple Talk. We have 4 articles per week that we publish on the LinkedIn Purple Talk. So yeah, those are all our channels. Make sure that you just hit us up and log in. And I see we have a lot of people in here. So Tamara, she says hi. Guys, love the shirt, Dan. Thank you so much. Maybe Gladstone, you can put that on the screen. The people that are saying hi. We have Adrian Paris as well. We have Aura, and then we have Adrian saying skull, right? So
special,
skull.
special, special shout out to Gladstone though. Gladstone's back. He wasn't with us last week, so welcome back, Gladstone. We're happy to have you. So we really appreciate everything you're doing behind the scenes.
Yes, absolutely. Gladstone. He's very important to our team. Without you, I don't know how to handle any of the controls,
Yeah.
and I'm not all over the place, like as you could see last week. All right, so today we're going to be talking about AI, okay, and the influence of AI on cybersecurity, and also hackers, how hackers are using AI to hack our systems. And it's
100%.
just incredible what I'm going to show you. And it is a little bit of a clickbait. I mean, I'm not going to lie, when I put the last selfie on Earth,
You
because
had
it
me. You had
sparked,
me scared.
because it sparked something in me when I was reading about what's going on with Midjourney. And let me just explain a little bit about AI. Okay, first, and then we're going to talk about Midjourney and what it does, which is really, really creepy. right? and then we talk about the AI. So I'm going to show my screen right now. And if you have any questions, if you have any comments, just put them in there. We'll be happy to answer any of your questions. So this is from Google, good old Google, and explains what AI does, right? In simple terms.
People with their personal lives, jobs, transportation, education, health, and more, maybe even without them realizing it. Here are some examples of AI in action on a typical day. In the morning, a teenager wakes up and uses facial recognition to unlock her phone. She scrolls through social media feeds to see what's new. Then she asks the voice assistant on her phone what the weather is going to be like that day so she knows how to dress for school. A college student uses an app on his phone to deposit a birthday check from his grandmother. He takes a photo of the check, and the app automatically reads the handwriting to figure out the amount. It then deposits it into his account. Meanwhile, a younger student uses a different app that is teaching her a new language. The app listens to what she says and can recognize what she's saying even if she makes mistakes. The app then gives her personalized feedback on her pronunciation. At the same time, a person gets in their car to go to work, and the navigation system plans the fastest route based on current traffic. In the car, they listen to a music streaming service, which already knows what types of songs they like based on what they listened to before. When a factory worker arrives at her job, she sees that, as usual, humans and robots are both assembling cars. The robots do some of the more dangerous or repetitive tasks, like welding or painting. AI helps the robots recognize the tools they need to pick up or check parts to make sure they have been cut exactly right. When the cars are completed, computers help manage inventory and plan efficient shipping routes to deliver them around the world.
All right, so I'll pause it there, but you get the point, right?
Yeah.
That's the role of AI in everyday life.
You know what? Seeing it like that actually really puts it in perspective how involved AI is in everybody's day-to-day lives. It's incredible, actually.
It is really unbelievable. I mean, and everybody thinks about the AI as being these robots that are half sentient and they speak and like they do interviews with them and stuff like that. But that's just the kind of like the superficial part with the face and the stuff, like the cyber world and the media. But if we get rid of that and we look at the everyday uses for AI, is unbelievable. It's unbelievable what AI can do, from chat boxes to medical devices and procedures to even traffic. How do they compute traffic, right? So, and the main thing that we got to understand is that AI, what it needs, what the process it goes through is basically through what's called big data. And big data is just what it sounds. It's large amounts of data points. And what the AI does is it once you give them instructions on how to do things, it tries to compute the best solutions or the best courses of action through the data by like going through the data and filtering out. You put in there different labels. There's different type of learning for AI. So there's machine learning, for example. There is deep machine learning. There's neural networks as well as natural language. All of this is part of the AI umbrella, right? So that's what it is, and that's what it does, right? So now let's talk about the bad stuff. And it is kind of a scary situation on what's going on in terms of I have the good and the bad, right? So what do you want to?
I was going to say, I mean, maybe what we should do is we should talk about the good first, in the sense that, all the elements and everything that's being put in place and the advancements in technology to utilize and benefit from AI learning and helping protect us, us as individuals, as companies, etc. But the scary part, as you said, and you're going to allude to, is the criminals out there are doing the exact same thing with the exact same technology to combat what the advancements are. So it kind of goes hand in hand, right? So that's why I'm a big component of both. I'm a big component of the AI and the advancement of AI. So for the mass amount of information to be able to dissect, mitigate and remunerate almost immediately. But what's really important is the human component on top of that on a regular basis.
Absolutely. Human component is crucial on cybersecurity, and I'm going to show you that as well, right? So, but before we get into the cybersecurity aspect, let's talk about the last selfie on Earth. So basically, a couple of weeks ago, there was this software, this algorithm, this AI algorithm, and I'm going to show you on the screen right now, called Midjourney, right? And what it does is picks up natural language as well as images from all over the world, right? So maybe you can put that on the screen. The Gladstone, my screen. There we go. Thank you. So Midjourney generates AI apocalyptic images of the last selfie taken, basically, in the world, right? So it compiles all images from Google, as well as it turns what Midjourney does is it turns natural language sentences into images. So you can tell the AI, for example, I want to see a dog wearing sunglasses in the moon while having a party. And then the AI will actually construct images, right? Different sets of images with a dog in different formats, with different styles and stuff like that. And people are a little worried because they think that this is replacing the actual human, the art of graphic design and painting and stuff like that, because the AI it manufactures this beautiful images and renders on pictures on whatever you tell them.
Well, you know what? I can tell you a story about that real quick, and it's a real life story. So, my uncle's wife's brother, this was years ago, actually started with her father, incredible artist, and he was in that industry, and part of his job was touching up real life designs or photos for advertisement. And let's say, for example, he took a picture of, I'm going to use this as an example, I'm not saying it happened, but he took a picture of a beautiful salad at a restaurant, and they would give it to him. When they blew it up big for a billboard, there was a little bug in it, hypothetical. He would actually have to go in and touch it up and remove that. Well, now it's like immediate. Like it's you don't even have it literally put him, he had to adapt or die. And basically he adapted. But unfortunately, that's exactly what it did. It put people like that out of business.
But it's absolutely crazy what you're saying, because I don't know if you've seen the commercials for the new Pixel phone, Google Pixel, where you can take a picture and there is a person on the background, like a photo bomber or something like that. You can actually delete it from the type image, and that is an algorithm thinking on the other side and putting in and making sense of what the image is and getting rid of that. So that's AI working in itself, right? So going back to Midjourney. So of course, like there is jokesters out there, and they typed in. I actually signed up for Midjourney, and I'm on the waiting list because I want to play around with the software, right? So they typed up, what would the last selfie on Earth be like? And this is exactly what the AI produced, and you can see it on the screen.
I loved Tamara's comment on this, and it's so true. Hollywood is so advanced in a lot of the things, like so many things, like even like to the Jetsons. I think that's coming up right away, 2022, or it's already passed. But to Tamara's thing, it always reminds me of Terminator.
She says true, AI reminds me of the Terminator.
It's so true. It's so true.
Yeah, and let me just scroll through the images. Some of the images in here. There is a video on here as well. Here's another one. Check this out. These are the last selfies according to the AI. Wow. This is pretty scary stuff, right? I guess the world is not going to end in a good note.
In a good way. Okay, this is certainly someone's opinion. It's not going to happen, everybody. Okay.
Yes.
It's crazy.
Yeah, and it's crazy how these AI works. All right, so that's Midjourney and kind of like the clickbait that we had. But the thing is, like, it wasn't really a clickbait, because I was thinking, okay, so AI is really good. It's doing a lot of good stuff, but all of a sudden I see this, like a Midjourney apocalyptic image, and then I'm thinking AI hackers, and start investigating about how hackers are using AI as well. And I discovered, I pretty much opened a whole can of worms with that. There's so much stuff that hackers are doing on the background. right? So they're starting to use AI on to accelerate polymorphic malware, right? So polymorphic is just fancy terms for a virus that is able to adapt and generate code itself so it can attack and bypass defenses. That's polymorphic. And but now imagine that there's what do you call it, a virus that can learn from the security systems and bypass every security system out there, so it
Well,
can constantly
and
change itself.
that's what's so crazy about cybersecurity and technology and big data now. It's you have to have AI to be relevant, to be protected. You have to. I mean, there's just so much of it, right? And so obviously, as you're saying, the hackers are leveraging that to the exact same capacity. And they're going to continue to leverage that to make themselves more relevant, to be able to do more crime, more corruption, more problems. But it goes hand in hand, because the good guys trying to protect all that data and trying to protect us and trying to protect companies are using the AI as well. So it's a necessary evil, unfortunately.
Yeah. And the other thing is, for example, you saw the video, right, that I showed you from Google. Hopefully Google is not going to take that video down and going to ding us on the copyright and stuff. So please, Google, just keep the video in there, so I don't have to cut that little piece on the video. So I don't know if you saw it, right? So like you get up in the morning and then you look at your phone and it has facial recognition, right? So how about now, a hacker being able to create this AI that can bypass facial recognition.
Yeah.
That you can actually, fake a facial or a face, right? Or, for example, a voice command. You're always like, "Hey, Google," and Google, hopefully it won't be talking to me back.
You got your Google over there.
and you say something to Google, but how about if the hacker's able to fake the voice commands? Already we're seeing all of this stuff with deep fake, right? You've seen pictures or videos of Barack Obama and Tom Cruise and things like that are 100%. Not real, the person. But imagine that this is being used in a nefarious manner now. 100%. So it's completely changing the kind of like the landscape. So, do we have any questions, any comments in there?
We got a lot of comments. I see that Layla was saying that I was trying to console them with the pictures and stuff, so that was kind of funny. But who knows what's going to happen in life? But I think a couple different people said things.
Yes. Okay, let's see. Let's read up some of the comments. Do you think there will come to a point where AI will be conscious? Yeah, and this is from a couple of months ago. I think a couple of months ago, there was one employee at Google that kind of was doing a little bit of whistleblowing and stuff, saying that their AI was sentient, right? So it was actually thinking by itself.
Wow, which is
for itself, like a human. Yeah. And it got debunked. Right, so it was all over the news, right, on this. But we have Elon Musk, we have some other people saying that AI is dangerous, and we gotta be careful because this could actually happen.
I saw a talk show with Elon Musk actually, and he was talking about exactly that and how it's going to take over so many jobs, etc. And where they're going to have to incorporate a global salary or a global allowance for all those people eventually who are going to basically not have jobs because of the AI abilities out there.
It's well, yes. That's called the singularity, right? The moment in which an AI is conscious and can think and can do its own things, right? I don't think we're far from it, right? So, but it is really stuff of sci-fi movies and stuff like that.
I think it needs to be contained. I truly believe, this is my opinion, it needs to be contained and released only in certain ways. But again, how do you contain something so advanced, right? It's hard.
Yeah. So here are some of the novel ways that hackers are attacking AIs. So one of the first ones is AI poisoning, right? So the way AI works is, as I said before, it gathers a lot of data, right? Big data. And then it makes sense of that data by trying to guess the best course of action or whatever it is instructed to do, right? Some sort of objective. Now, let's suppose that data is fake, right? It's not accurate data. So the results are going to be when the AI starts thinking about it, and going through the analysis and all of that, is going to put incorrect data out. It's going to sort out incorrect data. So, for example, if there's an alert or some sort of a security event or a malicious software piece or a file, and the bad AI is able to trick the good AI into thinking that this piece of software is not bad, it's good.
Exactly.
So obviously, and that's poisoning. That's data poisoning for the AI. The AI is going to go, oh no, this is a benign file, and then that's how you give the bad AI permission to get into the system and do the attack, right?
Yes.
So that's AI poisoning. Feeding wrong data to the AI so it can make wrong decisions. Pretty scary stuff, man. Then we have AI fuzzing. So AI fuzzing is basically because the way AIs work is by learning and by consuming or ingesting so much data.
Right.
Imagine you start giving the AI data that is corrupted, and you give them, it's sort of like a DDoS attack, like a denial of service attack. So you're infesting the AI with samples of inputs that are meant to crash the application. So then the AI, gets that information and gets so much and so bad and so corrupted that it crashes the servers, right? So that's another.
But Dan, isn't this a big part of like where we have the combination? So for on the protection side of things, I understand from the negative side as far as the hacker side, but on the protection side of the good guys, so AI is all about obviously understanding the behavioral habits of companies, individuals, etc., adapting and growing and learning, and then being able to identify anything that's problematic in the system or network, what have you. But the human component, then, this is what's really important about that, where it kind of goes hand in hand, that when it's not necessarily a false positive, but a problem, a cybersecurity analyst or expert will come in and basically evaluate, identify, and then say, okay, this is, a corrupt or a cyber attack or some type of malicious activity. I mean, is that kind of where you would say, okay, it's really important to have both because of that, those facets? Yeah,
exactly. If you leave it to 100% to technology to do its job, you need the human component to be able to make sense out of it, right?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, AI is not capable of being sentient, and a human is, right? So
right.
That's exactly what I have in terms of cybersecurity.
Okay,
and you can read it right here. You need to merge the technical with the human
right.
approach. Right. So if as a cybersecurity analyst, and I'm a SOC analyst, for example, and I'm going through the data, and then I see an executable being downloaded, and my AI is saying, no, this is perfectly fine.
Exactly.
But then you can actually see it with your own eyes, and you can see that the hash is bad, and you're going like, what the heck? This doesn't make any sense. That raises flags, and that's a human interacting with with your system. It's not the AI, because the AI was deceived, right? So it is very important that, like the AI is used for breaking down complex automatic processes.
Right.
Basically, you get lots of data, our PCAP, network intrusion detection system, you get millions of events per week on a normal client because they're all transactions of data, right? A human cannot interact with that. It's just virtually impossible. So you have the AI working on the backside, filtering and doing initial analysis. But at the end, you have to have the human component doing that analysis, the professionals working on the background. And not only that, but if there is a problem, then humans can correct it, and they can create and build better models based on or defense plans based on that data, right? So it is, absolutely right. You need to have the human component, and that's, I think, what makes the difference, right?
Yeah, 100%.
So going back to the hackers, phishing and spam, right? Phishing and spam attackers they're using machine learning to be able to bypass security tools on the spam side, right? So you as we evolve, it is I won't be surprised if we start seeing more spam and more phishing attacks that are bypassing your security defenses. And again, cybersecurity awareness training. It all comes down to the human component that can save the world, man. We can save the world if everybody knows, right? So we have a few questions, I think.
Passwords and human.
Yes. So Gladstone, just put them on the screen. We'll be able to answer them. Let's see. How do you protect yourself from AI poisoning? So I think I just explained it, right? So you need to have the actual human component to be able to go through the data that is the AI is spitting out, and then correct those models, right? If that's something that's happening, and if they see something that is it's wacky and it's not good, they're gonna be able to raise flags and then do a better work on going back to the data and start doing an analysis and threat hunting and all of that. So that's very important.
And Dan, to that point, I mean, you use the terminology how to protect yourself. So it's always about mitigating risk, right? Basically being proactive. You're never, ever going to be 100% protected. That's the reality in unfortunately, the world we live in, especially with AI and everything out there and advancements of technology, et cetera. But it's all about being proactive. So putting the right measures in place, meeting with the right experts, having the right solutions, having the combination between the right solutions and real life people. Those are going to having the great passwords, having some cybersecurity awareness. Go on, if you don't have a course or your company's not doing it, go online and Google some stuff and learn some stuff, watch some videos. There's courses through Udemy that you can do. It's all really important. That's how you help protect yourself. You're never going to mitigate it, but that's being proactive is going to help protect you.
Exactly. And let's go back. You're talking about being proactive, right? And that's extremely true when it comes to AI too. So think about an AI being like a little kid, like a toddler, let's say a 5-year-old. Whatever input you give the toddler is what the toddler is going to learn. It is the same thing with an AI. If you give them input about risk and problems, the AI might start to think about, this is a problem. So I'm going to avert this, and then I'm going to warn on this problem. So if you have a 5-year-old, for example, and the 5-year-old wants to jump off the couch, and you tell the 5-year-old, hey, don't do that because that's risky. And then, you can, if you don't teach the 5-year-old that risk, at the 5-year-old is not going to be able to do things on his own. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's kind of like, you see these umbrella parents that are always, trying
helicopter parents,
helicopter parents that are, they try to keep the kid on a cocoon, and at the end, they don't grow to take, they don't learn to take risk. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. So if you tell the year-old, okay, yeah, you can jump off the couch, but let me put this pillow in here and just give it a try, and the kid jumps, and everything is safe. Then the kid learns a lesson.
Exactly.
And it's exactly the same with AI. So Sonia Castillo is asking, how do you protect yourself from AI poisoning? And I'm going not just in terms of AI poisoning, but also every other thing, right? So Trojans in malware and stuff like that. So how do you teach AI poisoning? Is by teaching them AI poisoning. You have to teach them what it is, right? So there's a couple of really cool stuff. So the first one I want to show you is the Trojan Aei Software Framework. I have it right here, and here it is, right? So this is all open source, by the way. So all of this stuff is open source, by the way. So AI is open source. You can learn it yourself. For example, IBM Watson and all of that stuff. So this AI or this algorithm teaches the AI about Trojans, right? So you're starting to feed Trojans into the AI and making them learn what a Trojan is and how it evolves, and even polymorphic Trojans. So it's all about it's part of the learning models for AI. All algorithms need to learn, either through deep learning, which means you just leave them alone and to do whatever it is they're going to do, or with instructions, right? So you give them a set of instructions, and then you correct those instructions when the AI learns, and then you go on. And so it's very kind of like human. There's a lot of human interaction with the AI to try to make them learn. So this algorithm, what it does, basically, it teaches the AI about Trojans, and it makes it part of the deep learning model. So the AI is able to it's able to learn what a Trojan is and how to act when he sees a Trojan, right? So that's another one. That's really good, right? And the other one that I wanted to show you is where did my thing go? Here is MIT. So MIT came up with the text fooler, right? So text fooler is another way that that we can teach AIs. And let me just show you. Here it is. Okay, so here's the research on text fooler, and you're teaching the AI by giving them a set of bad text, right? So your bad language to the AI, so the AI can learn. So one of the processes that the AI does when it goes through the learning process is get text and also words, so natural language, and make sense of it, right? So if a hacker is trying to spoof stuff, it's going to send the AI a set of text that doesn't make any sense, right? So it is, or even words, right? So it's sentences that don't make any sense, and then the AI is going to be like, "What the heck is this?" And you're going to trip the AI, right? So this algorithm, what it does, text fooler, is try to teach the AI how to find and how to be able to intersect text and data that doesn't make any sense. So, and it's also sort of like a vaccination, right? If you think about like a vaccine, right? So you get injected with the virus at the very beginning, so your antivirus can learn the sequence and the DNA and all of that stuff, and then when the actual virus comes in, it's able to detect it and apply its own defenses. It is the same thing. You need to inoculate your AI with this learning models so it can actually learn to combat the bad guys when things happen.
For sure.
No, I find this fascinating, man. I don't know. This is like freaking crazy.
It's so fascinating. And what I find even equally as fascinating is, and I get back to the Hollywood thing and Terminator, etc. I was just Googling. That's why I was looking over here. The TV show with Will Smith, or the movie with Will Smith, I, Robot, and things like that. Like how relevant that's becoming now. Those movies that were just visions of the future are so accurate. It's just incredible accurate. If you watch those shows now and realize how far we've advanced in technology and AI, it's there. I mean, we're there in every aspect. It's crazy.
Yes. So other things that AI are doing, or bad AIs are doing, are, for example, better password hacking.
Yeah.
Right. So you have like password brute force attacks. They're done through two ways, right? So you have what's called a dictionary library. So it's a set of hundreds of thousands of words that you can put it on a machine and just try to go through each one of them. And then the second one is called a rainbow table. So try to break the hash. And I'm not going to go into kind of more details into cryptography, but there's those two, and they're very manually intensive. They're very, very manually. It requires a lot of work from hackers, for example. But now imagine that you send data to the model, right? To a model, like, for example, what your name is, what your hobbies are, what all kinds of little tidbits of data. Your daughters, your sons, their names, all of those breadcrumbs that belong to you. And the model itself construct passwords around that stuff, and then it applies that when it's doing the brute force attack. And then it's able to come up with the right password, and they hack into your account because you had the name of your son in there with some other. So it's not a human doing the hacking; it's the AI thinking what to put in that field to be able to hack you.
And that's what's so important. That's what's so important about obviously password hygiene is exactly that, to be about, again, be proactive, have 16 characters with multiple letters, or longer the better, different things like that, because they don't have those characters. Don't make breadcrumbs about yourself. Don't make it about your dog's, your first street, your dog, and your daughter's name, and how many people are in the family, or whatever it is. I mean, don't do that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Now, if I get a little more into the technical stuff, this is an example of something called deep hack, right? I'm showing on the screen right now. So maybe Gladstone, if you can put it on the screen.
Yeah.
There you go. So basically, this is an SQL injection. Okay. So if you're a pen tester or an ethical hacker, you know that to do SQL injections, you can throw in SQL map and other tools, but they're a little labor intensive, because you have to program them, you have to get the right script, the right database, and start to code your SQL map until you can get the results from it. This tool, which is Deep Hack, does it itself by not doing it. So let me just let's see if we can make sense of this. I'm going to play this. All right, here we go.
Hey everyone, Alt-F4 here. What you're watching is a computer program hacking into a web applications database by exploiting a SQL injection vulnerability. But what makes this program special is that we never coded it to do this. Instead, it learned how. You see, nowhere in Deep Hack's source code will you find any SQL injection strings, SQL syntax, or structure. Instead, it uses a neural network to figure out how to extract information from this web vulnerability. Deep Hack is the beginning of a new class of tools that adds artificial intelligence to the hacker's playbook. Moreover, AI frameworks are more accessible than ever, making it easy for you to create your very own doomsday or pen testing machines. For more information, come check out our DEF CON presentation Sunday.
All right, so this is from 2017. It started, and this is this channel, Bishop Fox. So thank you for putting this out there, Bishop Shop. And but you hear that? This is freaking crazy. Something that would take hours for a pen tester to do, it can be done in minutes with a AI that can actually learn how to do it.
Unbelievable.
All right. Do you have any questions? Any comments out there? This is freaky stuff. That's why the last selfie on Earth, and it sounds pretty bad. Okay. So Adrian says, how will we know that an artificial intelligence is self-aware? Would it be unethical to continue an artificial consciousness to a body with no ability to move? Okay, we're getting into the realm of mind-bending stuff
and rights and human rights.
Yes, I love those movies, man. I don't know if you, I really like technology, right? And I like anything that has to do with sci-fi and mind-bending, right? So I know exactly where he's getting at, right? So if you have a conscious AI and it thinks like a human,
right?
But is it a human? Do you have power over that person? Can you shut it off? Right? According to Star Trek, you can't. Once a being is sentient, whether it is artificial intelligence, it's thinking on its own, so it needs to be protected, right? So that's Star Trek. You can't just shut off a machine because it's thinking by itself, right? So do we have authority over that?
Well, I don't know. Things will definitely adapt. There's no question. The bad thing.
Yeah. So those Trekkies out there, put comments on Star Trek on what you think about the Prime Directive of like not altering sentient beings, whatever they are. All right. So that's my Star Trek minute of the day. So all right, so let's think about let's see if I have anything else in terms of so deep fakes are pretty bad and they are getting better, right? So the human ability to be able to make sense of facial and the face is unbelievable, right? It's unbelievable when you have an actual human and you can make patterns. And I forget the name of the word. Maybe somebody knows out there what the word is. That you can, you look at something and then you actually make out a face out of it.
Right.
There's like the wall or the and
cloud or whatever,
and you see, oh, look, that's a face or that's an elephant or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So humans have this ability to be able to make out faces. very, very quickly. And nowadays, you can still kind of tell a deep fake from a real image, right? And maybe I should have put a deep fake on the screen, right? Like, I don't know if you've seen the videos of Obama, for example, or Tom Cruise doing a deep fake. Have you?
I don't think I have, actually, to tell you the truth.
Let me see. Tom Cruise deep fake. Yeah, there's even like a yeah, here it is. Let me show you. Yeah. You see this guy here?
That's why.
Oh, yes, I have seen this. Yes, I have seen it.
It's a little embarrassing, you know. It reminds me, I was once in Russia, I ran into Gorbachev. He said,
He's not real, right?
"You're a movie star. Are you nervous?" I said, "No, Mr. Gorbachev, I'm not nervous. I don't." He goes, "Well, remember how much a polar bear weighs." I said, "Polar bear?" He said, "Enough to break the ice." It's the last time I've ever.
So what do you guys think out there? Is he real? Is he why am I saying Tom Cruise or no? You can still tell that it's not Tom Cruise, right?
Yeah,
like,
but his actions are incredible. Like his whole movement, his look, his facial impression, everything is so accurate. But you can
it almost has you fooled.
Yeah.
Doesn't it? It's almost there, but it's not. It's not. Deepfake is not there yet. The ability to spoof somebody's identity in terms of video and stuff like that, it's not there, because you can still see the fakeness of it, because humans are really good at it. That's why, right? But imagine a few years from now, imagine a decade from now or 2 decades, when you will see, and let's say, the president of Russia or somebody like, maybe Putin won't be on power by then, or the president of the United States doing a conference, and you see that person on your television, and it's not a real person. It's actually a fake person. It's not. It's just a deep fake.
Hollywood's going to save an awful lot of money basically making movies with these deep fake guys. They don't have to pay. The celebrities can stay home and someone else can do it for them. That's crazy.
Exactly. Oh my God. Because of AI now, you can see, if we're talking about the Tom Cruise movie, there's a Tom Cruise movie that is coming out, right? And there was also the Top Gun,
which is amazing.
movie. And you see their faces. They are able to actually make them younger now.
Yeah.
So you have like older actors that are in their 50s, 60s, even 70s, look much younger because of AI applied into the movies. But now let's go back to, let's say, Biden, and we see that Biden's having a lot of problems out there, right? With when the speeches, he's doing the speeches and stuff like that. But what if you had an AI that can actually be like Biden and talk like Biden and do things correctly, and you don't even know that's not the actual president of the United States talking. It's just an AI.
This is why there's so many concerns with social media and the internet and listening to certain people, and you think you're getting it from a validated resource, and in all fairness, it's not. It's exactly this. This is it's completely. You have to really be careful of what you're influenced by. There's no question.
Yes. Yeah. So now you have hackers using deepfake to be able to get away with stuff, right? So this is growing, right? And it's a growing concern. Bruce Schneier, I think I'm pronouncing it right. Bruce Schneier is an American cryptographer and computer professional, privacy expert, and he's a lecturer at the Kennedy Harvard University. Very well known, and he is giving signs. He's telling everybody, that hackers are going to be able to use these tools in the near future, and he's raising awareness about it. So it is something that is happening. Adrian Perez says, probably if we have in the future glasses with telephones included, you can pay for an artificial intelligence to make others see you younger. Yeah. That will be a combination with maybe the metaverse, right? You never know, right? So and then Tamara says data is the only AI I'll trust. Absolutely, data. and then she puts a little,
That guy.
the sign. Yeah. So yes, yeah. So pretty crazy stuff. Let's go into kind of what cybersecurity professionals and companies can do to protect themselves from
Exactly. I think that's
AI,
really good.
which is very important, right? So the first one, and I think, I'm not sure if I have it in here, is create models with AI models that actually take in all this data and have algorithms from. I talked about the two algorithms, right? So the Trojan AI, the MIT text folder, incorporated into them, so your AI models can learn, right?
Yeah.
Data analysis that's what AI does in an everyday, and it does it in our own systems, right? And network intrusion detection systems on our MDR, where we apply to identify the right data, right? So the right data and the best results and stuff like that. Anomaly detection is very, very important, right? So making sure that automatically the AI is able to detect anomalies and not be fooled. And I think my mouse just died. Oh no. My mouse just died, so I can't move stuff. Maybe there was an AI that just infected my mouse, and now it's not working. So I have another spare mouse in here. Let me just turn it on. And that's because I'm
These
smart.
are the little things we have to go through with a live show. It's okay. There we go.
It might be my computer, because this mouse is not working either. So okay, show is over. No, just kidding.
Show is over.
Yeah. So okay, so if we step back into like cybersecurity in itself, you need to have, first of all, the right security controls in your system.
Yeah.
And the best way to do that is to what's called cyber security in depth, or onion security, right? And what you need to do is have different tools, right? So I'm talking about, and I had a really good presentation on this, on security in depth. So your endpoint protection has to be there, your human component, your DNS component, your firewall. All of it has to be interacting together kind of in unison. And you need to have some sort of a managed detection and response, or network intrusion detection system inside of the network. You see, that's the first step, right? Andrew, right? That 289 days to discover a system being compromised, according
Absolutely.
to the IBM research study.
And with
That's the
AI
first thing.
learning, with AI learning and technology, like for example, like Rhino or MDR or Rhino Guard, I mean, it's up to 20 minutes. So talk about difference, right? 287 days in the market standard versus 20 minutes of identifying and mitigating and basically isolating a potential risk. You have to have the right measures in place. And again, that happens through a combination of AI learning and the human component, which is critical.
Yes, and the thing is, every time we do the presentation to our clients or prospects, they are just like their jaw drops, right? It's like they have a brain meltdown, because they go like, "Wow, that's just freaking amazing how we're able to detect this type of stuff so fast, right? So fast." So the first thing that I would suggest is, if you're a big company and you have the budget to create your own AI and your own stuff, definitely play with the models. Make sure that the models are solid, right? But if not, then get a managed detection or response company or network intrusion detection system inside of your network, so it can automate a lot of the processes that cybersecurity and IT specialists cannot do, right? So
and you know what, Dan, to that point, I think it's really important, because a lot of companies out there think, oh, I'm protected. I have my MSP, I have my IT department, I have my endpoint detection, I have my firewall, I have. But that's the MDR, the managed detection response solution that's protecting your network, is still a fairly new technology. It's only a few years old, and it's really, really a game changer when it comes to mitigating risk in your network, because that's where a lot of vulnerabilities and risk and ransomwares come from. And again, if it's sitting in there for the average standard time of 287 days, imagine how much pivoting and how much damage potentially it could do. And so, if you have all these measures out there, become educated, be proactive, ask your IT specialist, ask your MSP, ask your cybersecurity organization, what is that? What is a an MDR look like? How does it affect, or how does it add relevance to what we already have in place, because it's really, really important.
Yeah, exactly. So the other thing is that I'm showing on the screen as well is the classification. So you know, classification of data, right? So emails, files into categories, into it is able to recognize this stuff. So you got to beef this up, right? Make sure that you know, things don't get through. Right, so this is what we do. This is what we do in our own company, and that's why I'm kind of like sharing with you. And as Andrew was mentioning, merging technical and human approaches are very important. Don't be fooled by the technology. That's the key, right? So if the technology is bad and it is fooled by an AI, then you need to actually look into it yourself and make sense of it. And that's what I tell you know, our SOC analyst all the time. You know, like the tool is telling you something, but is that accurate?
Yeah.
Go and investigate. Right. So very important stuff. All right. So so we have a few comments and a few questions in here. Gladstone, if you can put them on there, I think.
I was going to say Tom Cruise is still joining our show here, I see. So get him to talk. Do you have him up on your screen? Can you see him?
Yeah, let's look a little bit more.
Seen Macau, Gorbachev.
What's up, TikTok? You guys cool if I play some sports?
It's crazy.
I love it. More for the audio experience. As much as the momentum. Hey, listen up, sports and TikTok fans. If you like what you're seeing, just wait till what's coming next.
That's crazy. That looks just like Tom Cruise, man. And Diego also says in there, Paul McCartney has a video.
Yeah.
Paul McCartney has a video like that. Yes. Yeah. I don't know if you've seen the video of Paul McCartney when he looks really young in that video, right? And the guy is like, I don't know. It's pretty, he's getting pretty old, right? So and then Catherine says
Whitney Houston.
Yeah, Whitney Houston, right? Whitney Houston singing as she was still alive, right? And another one that I remember is Star Wars, Princess Leia, right? Like the what's her name? I forgot the name of the actress. Drawing blanks. Please help me, guys.
Yeah,
who is it?
She just died. Oh my goodness.
Yes. So she, I think the last Star Wars movie, she died kind of like in the middle of the movie, and they had to, or they created a movie where she was in there, even though she is passed away already, right? So that's kind of like that where AI is taking us. And let's see, Alex says.
Carrie Fisher.
There you go.
Thank you,
Thank
Tamara.
you so much, Tamara. I really appreciate that. Amazing. Alex says, I guess the problem is how the lower chin connects to the neck. Really close though. Crazy. Yeah. Okay, let's see. Okay, his chin. Let's see. Let me play this a little more.
Show the screen. Oh no, I can't see it either.
I'm going to show you some magic. It's the real thing. I mean, it's all the real.
I would swear it was him. Wow. It's crazy.
But you know what? I think when he puts his hand around his face, it changes a little bit into like his actual face, the guy's face, not Tom Cruise. Or when he moves around, I think Alex is right. You can actually tell a little bit sometimes that it is not Tom Cruise, right?
Yeah, for sure. It's crazy though.
So what is Carrie Fisher. Catherine said that. Sorry, I thought it was Tamara, or is it? It was Catherine. So Diego also says, what does Diego say in there?
Host here, the guest here, host says, looks like a real good video game.
Yeah, that's Gladstone. Yes, absolutely, Gladstone. It looks like a video game.
Oh, Gladstone's putting that. I'm sorry.
Yes, Diego says they always make those videos with Tom Cruise's face. Poor poor Tom Cruise. Yeah, for sure, absolutely. And you know,
Because
like
he's so expression, like his actions are so expressive, and his voice and his big smile and everything else. So it makes it really good to do. Actually,
yeah.
funny.
Catherine also says there are inconsistencies on in lip movement. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, so I think we've done already. So if you have any questions, guys, we have 5 minutes to answer any questions. If you have them in there, Gladstone, maybe you can put one of the questions that people asked from before. And but while I have you in here, make sure that you subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's YouTube/GetCyber. Just go in there and subscribe to our channel, and also visit our website rhino.io. You can also subscribe to our newsletter, which is pretty good. We get some really good content for you guys. Tamara is putting something on the screen too.
Yeah.
Gladstone, if you can put Tamara's comment in there as well. Data is the only one I trust. I think she put it one. She posted. There you go.
There
Still,
it is, yeah.
even if it's almost perfect, that's just weird, creepy, and has serious implications in the wrong hands. Yeah.
Oh, serious, absolutely.
It's just imagine, you know, like a Putin talking about World War III, and you know, like, and then Biden talking and having the interaction, and we don't even know, and then all of a sudden everybody's at war, right? So imagine a video of you, Andrew, out in the wild, you know,
I don't know,
saying bad stuff.
Kind of funny. It would be kind of scary, actually, is what it would be. But I mean, you could be implemented for so many things in a negative way. And you know what? This talk and this show, you know, it's so relevant to the world and how much we advanced since pre-pandemic, through pandemic, with cybersecurity attacks, etc., and how critically important it is for individuals to ask for help or guidance in these kind of things, and then companies, more importantly, to be, you know, speaking to the experts, having the right things in place, because everything is advancing so fast. It's all about, I'm going to just reiterate, guys, and I keep doing this every single show. It's all about being proactive, not reactive. You know, don't wait until something happens. Be proactive. Everything is advancing, and there's experts out there that can help you today. Yes. And it's not some astronomical amount of money to get the help and get the protection and get the advice you need. You just have to do it. It's critical. So yes. I mean, I just, you know, it's one of my biggest messages to everybody out there, individuals or companies. Just be not be reactive, be proactive.
Exactly. So Adrian Paris, he says Albert Einstein once said that he doesn't know what the Third World War will be like, but he was sure that the Fourth World War would be with
sticks and rocks again.
Sticks and rocks.
Full circle, right?
Yeah, exactly. The apocalypse. Eduardo says something else in there. Can you put the comment from Eduardo? He says, I imagine that hardware devices will be needed to validate the identity, such as USB wallets for cryptocurrency. Yeah, absolutely. So even what if you have hardware that is already able to fake? Like, for example, you know that you have facial recognition on your phones, or you have your thumbprint. But what if a hacker is able to put let's say an app inside of your phone to be able to fake that? You never know, man. Even hardware can be deceived nowadays, right? So that's crazy. Planet of the Apes.
Planet of the Apes. Absolutely. That goes back to my whole, you know, entertainment world and how things had full circle. I mean, 20 years ago, what's happening actually today? It's insane.
Yes. So guys, if you see a video out there of me doing bad stuff,
it's
right?
Not me.
It's not me. It's a deep fake. Okay. Exactly. Just so you know, it's not me. 100%. I can tell you right now. Okay. So can you tell what generation I'm from? Tamara says, absolutely. Gen X generation. All right. For all of you millennials out there, you know, we had this movie, Planet of the Apes, at the very beginning, and Terminator. She was talking about Terminator and Star Trek. So that's like, my type of stuff as well. All right, everybody, thank you so much for participating. Make sure that you go to, you know, the great cycle challenge, Dan Duran, writers Dan Duran, and then donate some money for the good cause, cancer for kids, and follow us, right? So absolutely. Thank you so much for joining us. We are out of time, and I hope you everybody have a fantastic weekend.
Absolutely.
Cheers, everybody.
Take care, everybody. Cheers.